In my last video, behind me was the Columbia River, and behind me now is the Bay of Banderas. And as you can tell from the title of this episode, my wife and I have moved to Mexico, specifically to the Puerto Vallarta area of Mexico. This is our new home. This is where we're going to build ourselves a brand new life. I mentioned the Puerto Vallarta area of Mexico because for me, I made the entire greater Portland, Oregon area my home. When we lived in Portland, to me, the greater Portland, Oregon area covered two states. To the north, as far as my experience of it, you had Ridgefield and Salmon Creek, all the way down to south to Wilsonville, off to the east, Gresham and Sandy and even Mount Hood. And then the western border to me of the greater Portland area was Beaverton and Hillsboro and Banks. And then one little fun detail, as many of you know, you go about an hour from the western border over the coastal range and you end up on the Oregon coast. Absolutely love the Oregon coast, which as you know runs from Astoria all the way down to Gold Beach. So now for me, I am looking at the greater Puerto Vallarta area in the same way. You've got up to the north, you've got on the Pacific Ocean itself, you've got San Pancho and Sayulita, and as you come down, you've got Putumayo, and then you enter the Bay of Banderas itself, and you've got La Cruz and Bucerias, and right now we're in the state of Nayarit, and Bucerias, and then Nueva Nayarit, and then you cross the border into Jalisco. And right there is the international airport. Just like in Portland, you cross the border from Washington into Oregon, and right there was the international airport. I crossed the border from Nayarit into Jalisco, and right there is PVR, the Puerto Vallarta International Airport. You can tell I'm working on trying to get my gringo tongue to have the correct pronunciation of things like Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Anyways, you got to have the airport, then you have the city itself of Puerto Vallarta. And then you've got this, to me, the southern end of this area, this wonderful, what I call the Bay of Banderas area. You've got Yelapa, and then going up the other way, up into the hill, you've got charming little village of El Tuito. And just a fun thing, I haven't been there yet, but if you go about an hour from El Tuito, just like I used to go from about an hour from Beaverton over the coastal range to the Oregon coast, you can go for about an hour outside of El Tuito down, and they've got the Costa Alegre. It's a section of the Mexican coastline that is just phenomenal. It goes from Cabo Corrientes to Manzanillo, and I'm really looking forward to eventually spending time exploring that coastal area. So yeah, we're making this entire area our home, all the way from San Pancho to Sayulita, all the way down to Yelapa and El Tuito and all the places in between. We're just delighted to be here. And this is where we're going to build ourselves a whole new life. Speaking of that, I've put up a brand new YouTube channel. The first episode's already up there. It's called Nueva Vida, New Life, Nueva Vida Puerto Vallarta. And it's going to have regular episodes about our journey here, what it's like to move to a whole different country and learn a new language. And, there's an episode already up, kind of an overview episode, and then I'll have feature episodes about our moving, specifically our moving to Puerto Vallarta. We drove down here, which was just incredible and insane and amazing. Took us 7 days. It's a 2,500 mile journey, 4,000 kilometers. Took us 7 days to get down here, and day 7 was harrowing. I'll probably have a special video about day 7. Other episodes on that channel will include our dealing with immigration and becoming legal residents here, and everything that unfolded there. So a lot of really good stuff coming there. Like I said, the first episode is already up and published there. I invite you to go check it out. Those videos will only be on the Nueva Vida Puerto Vallarta YouTube channel. I'll put a link for you can find it easily, but subscribe, enjoy it. I'm going to have a lot of fun putting those together. But I'm sure that right now some of you have some questions, and so I'm going to try and answer some of those questions right now for you. So I know one of the questions some of you may have is, when did we actually get here? We drove down, we left Sunday morning, July 27th. Our goal was to leave at 8 a.m., and I think we actually drove away at 8:04 a.m. We were right on schedule. I used to have a beloved white RAV4 named it Luna Santorini, white Luna the moon. Santorini has a lot of beautiful white buildings in it. It's an island in Greece. And I loved my Toyota RAV4. We ended up selling that and buying a new to us Toyota Highlander, a beautiful blue Toyota Highlander. And we told each other that it was a Bay of Banderas blue. And so my wife, she decided that to have fun, and she named that car Antonio, tongue-in-cheek reference to Antonio Banderas, because we were going to be moving to live on the Bay of Banderas. So we loaded up that Toyota Highlander with not very much. On purpose, we didn't take very much. We each had 2 pieces of luggage. I had a plastic box. We had a plastic box that had some Christmas decorations in it, a slightly bigger plastic box that had my desktop computer, some books, some mugs. I love, love, love my books. I love my mugs. Did not bring very many books, did not bring very many mugs. Like I said, just would fit in a small plastic box. Behind the front seat, I had 4 backpacks of gear with some of my podcast gear and my filming gear, just the bare bones. So 4 backpacks behind the front seat, driver's side. And then we had a stroller, and then we had some beds. Now the stroller and the little beds are for our dog Nash. I've not talked about Nash before, but we start talking about him, sharing Nash as part of our journey and photos of Nash, etc. Nash is a 10-year-old grumpy old man dog. He is half Chihuahua. He is half Italian Greyhound. And I've discovered moving here to Mexico that not everybody can Nash. They have a hard time saying it. So I've just been telling people his name is Nashville. And he's from Nashville, Tennessee. He's descended from the world famous line of Nashville, Tennessee blue tick Chihuahuas. I say that tongue in cheek, having a little bit of fun. Or I tell people that his Mexican name is Nacho, and we have brought him back, repatriated him, and brought him back to his home country. But Nash has been part of our journey. I've been with my wife 8 years. She's had Nash since he was a puppy, so she's had him about 10 years, a very young puppy. And the reason for the stroller is Nash likes to walk with us. We take walks, and he's good for about a half mile, but if we take a walk that's 2-3 miles, he just can't make that journey. And so we walk with him about a half mile, and then we will throw him into the stroller, and he then rides with us. While we walk, he's happy. He rides in the stroller, he smiles, he gets to be with us. And so that we purposely did not bring very much. And so Sunday morning, July 27th, about 8:04 a.m., I put on a playlist that I put together specifically for that journey. 13 songs very special to us. I'll be making a Nueva Vida video talking about those 13 songs. But started that playlist, and we drove off. We left our home in Camas, got on to Highway 14, onto 205, onto I-5, and began, like I said, a grueling 7-day journey. Basically, we went from PDX, the airport code for the Portland International Airport, to PVR, which is the airport code for the Puerto Vallarta International Airport, and that's PVR, not PBR. And it's just weird having a new home airport. But yeah, we arrived here on 7 days on Saturday, August 2nd. So I know another question some of you may have, so it's been 4 months now. That's August, and it's now early December. August, September, October, November. What have you been up to for 4 months? We've been busy. Basically, big picture, been trying to get settled so that we can then begin the journey of building a whole new life. Now, when we got here on Saturday, August 2nd, we moved into a home, our little belongings, not very many. We moved into a home we'd rented August to the end of December. And our plan was to stay here in this area through the end of December, drive all over, make sure it felt like all those areas I mentioned, the greater Puerto Vallarta area, and make sure that it felt like home to us, and then try and find a place for us to buy, a place that we would live. And if this didn't resonate with us, we had a second and third parts of Mexico planned out where we'd have gone to those places for 4 to 6 months at a time until we found the place that felt like home to us. We figured we would end up in Puerto Vallarta, but we wanted to make sure. And yes, it very much felt like home. And we're here. We're here permanente. I absolutely love it. I cannot tell you how amazing it is. The food, the people, it's phenomenal. But I'll get back to that. But what did we do? What did we do? What's been doing up to those 4 months? Well, one thing we did was rest. We were so tired. If some of you have watched the July 2025 Stephen Shomler video, I talk about all the heartache we've had the past 12 months. My wife and her heart condition, going to the hospital in ambulance. Her heart surgery, May 28th, 2025. Her mom had been on hospice a year and a half, passed away a couple weeks right after my wife's heart surgery. And we were just wiped out and exhausted. The drive down was grueling. And so we spent a lot of time resting, just resting. And my wife still needed to have time to recover from her heart surgery. So that's one of the things we did. I had 3 trips back to America, and I normally love getting on a plane, but when I got on the plane those 3 times to fly back to America, I was exhausted and tired, and every time I came home, back to here, I was even more tired, but I love the trips I was on, but they wore me out. The first trip I made was late August. I flew to San Antonio, Texas, cheer on my son, Zach, as he graduated from Air Force boot camp, did a great job, military basic training. And he graduated second in his class. He's doing so well in the Air Force. And he and his wife, Molly, I love her. They're just fantastic. And I just got to mention that Zachy has the best mother-in-law. Molly's mom, Julie, is fantastic. I would love to make a whole video about Zach's journey, but as Aslan says, people tell their own stories, so I'll leave that Zach to somebody to tell his journey. But even though that trip in San Antonio was very tiring, it was also deeply rewarding and fulfilling. So I spent a week in San Antonio at the end of August. Middle of September, I ended up flying a quick trip to Portland, Oregon. Ended up getting to help my stepson, Zach. That's right, my stepson, Zach. There are actually 3 sons named Zach in our family. That's a fun story for another time, but we cherish each and every one of those 3 Zachs. But I flew back in mid-September to help my stepson, Zach, move from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. And that was an incredible trip. And then flew back to Puerto Vallarta. And then we've been trying to sell our house up in Camas. And mid-October, someone got an offer, said they're going to buy the house, cash offer, close right away, close by October 31. So I had to get on a plane and head out to get the house cleared out, to get it emptied, to get it ready for sale. That was a quick trip, tremendous amount of work, just exhausting to do that. And what's interesting is when I got there, a couple days of work, and then that entire offer fell through. And those people, nope, they're not going to buy that house anymore. It's like, oh, I could have taken more time resting. I didn't need to be here right now. But the universe sent me there that time frame for a reason. Just an incredible story. It was a Saturday morning, and I'm moving stuff out through Facebook Marketplace and selling various things. Front doors open, carrying furniture out to the driveway. This young man comes, at least young to me, and he's got his little one strapped to his chest. He'd seen the house on Zillow. He wanted to look at it. I was there. He happened to just stop by. I showed him the house, gave him a tour of it. I spent 10 years in the banking industry, talked about how maybe to structure the transaction to help him get in. The next day he came back with his wife, his amazing wife, and his realtor. I talked to his realtor about ways to structure the offer, what to present to our realtor, showed him all the things I loved about the house. We wanted someone to move into our house, a young family that would cherish it the way we did and love the things about that house that we loved. And so they made an offer, and we were just hoping that it would work out for them to get that property, to get our home. But spent about a week there taking care of that, and then flew back to Puerto Vallarta. One of the other things that we've been doing for the past 4 months is, in addition to driving all around the greater Puerto Vallarta area saying, does this really resonate with us? Is this a place we want to build a new life? We started looking for a home, a place of our own. And we eventually did find one. We made an offer on a home, and we did on November 5th. We became Mexican homeowners. Super exciting, got a wonderful home for us. Eventually, I'll talk about that on the Nueva Vida YouTube channel. And it was wonderful, but tiring at the same time. We bought a home fully furnished, and so we took possession, long signing, like a 4 or 5 hour signing. Things are different in Mexico, 4 or 5 hour signing. And that was November 5th. And then we started moving in. We bought the home fully furnished. And so that was really good because there's a lot of things we didn't have to buy, but we still had to put a lot of time into, do we want to keep this? Do we want to keep that? What furniture works for us? What furniture doesn't? How do we want to arrange things? Where do we want the artwork? And so that took a lot of our time. So yes, we have been busy these past 4 months. Just a lot going on, but big picture, as I mentioned, we were just getting settled, just settled so that we can then put our hearts and souls into building ourselves a wonderful new life. And that's what we're doing throughout 2026. And as I mentioned, the Nueva Vida YouTube channel, Nueva Vida Puerto Vallarta, will have all of those videos. Super excited to begin creating that content. So the last question I'll answer here on this video is, what catalyzed us making this incredible leap right now and moving at this time in our lives to another country? I think part of it has to do with, big picture. There's two big things that affect the big picture from our past. One is the losses we've had. I've shared that on February 8th, 2016, I lost my 17-year-old son, Zane, and that really impacted me and shaped me and in one sense changed me, but it didn't really change me. It just deepened me. It helped me become even more of who I am, less room for BS, less nonsense. Here's what really matters to me. I know people that knew me then said, "Oh, Stephen, you've changed. You're a different person." And for those that really, really know me, I didn't change, become someone else. I changed, become even deeper who I am. But that loss of my son impacted me and has impacted my life since then. And then my wife, Casey, she writes extensively in her first book, Falling in Love with My Career, and a little bit in her second book, Desperately Dating, about two significant gut-wrenching losses she had in 2013. She lost her dad, who was very close to her, and her brother, Mike, who she was very close to, 3 weeks apart. She had both of those losses 3 weeks apart, and that changed her in a similar way. Another thing that greatly impacted, big picture thing that impacted this journey and us making this move is, for years, my wife has had smoldering in her heart an unfulfilled dream to pull up stakes and head off on an adventure to live for an extended period of time in another country. Our first date was September 13th, 2017. And that was an incredible date, 3 hours long. We talked about hopes and dreams and why become an author and her desire to become an author and professional backgrounds and all kinds of things. And one of the things she shared with me on that very first date is she had a desire to head off and live in another country. And she even told the story about her and her ex-husband almost pulled the trigger moving to another country. And that didn't happen. That fell apart, and how much she wished that had come together. So it's been there for a long time. I'll be making a Nueva Vida video that talks about specifically why we chose to move to Mexico and why we chose the Puerto Vallarta area of Mexico. But another important thing I think for you to know is that my wife loves the Puerto Vallarta area of Mexico. She has been coming here for years. Her first time she visited here was in 1990. She's been coming here for a long time. She's had a lot of wonderful vacations here and just loves this area. Her and I took a vacation here in 2018. Hola. It's not just greeting someone walking by. Her and I took a vacation here in 2018, pre-pandemic. Boy, that feels like a different world, doesn't it? A different world that we lived in pre-pandemic. But we vacationed here in 2018. And for the past couple of years, we have flirted with the idea of moving here, talked about it. Should we, shouldn't we? We took a trip here, a short trip here in May of 2024, looked at a couple houses, found ourselves a great realtor. We came back in February 2025, earlier this year, for just a couple days. Again, short trip, a little vacation, and we looked at some more houses. We found a house we absolutely fell in love with. We made an offer. The offer was accepted. We thought, oh, we're going to be homeowners. This is it. We're going to have to move. And we didn't know that things are different in Mexico. We should have, but we just didn't realize that there's actually like simplifying things, two signing events. And the first one's yay, but it's the second one that really matters. And our seller had some challenges and they just weren't able to sell us their home. And so they backed out on us, and we understand why they did that, but we were left heartbroken and discouraged. We thought we had a house we loved in an area of the Puerto Vallarta area we loved, and it broke our hearts when that didn't come together. And so we've been thinking about it and flirting with it for the past couple of years. But what really catalyzed it for us, like, okay, we just need to move now and make this happen. My wife had her heart surgery May 28th. A couple weeks later, her mom passed away. And by the end of June, we're like, you know what? Life is too short. You don't know how much time you'll get. Life's too short to live a life you don't love. We have unfulfilled adventures. Let's make this dream come true. Let's go for it. Let's move to Puerto Vallarta right now. And so we made it happen. We immediately started dealing with immigration issues. We began the process of becoming legal residents here. You have to start, if you're an American, at a Mexican consulate in America. If you're Canadian, you have to start at a Mexican consulate in Canada. We started our journey in Phoenix, of all places. I'll make an entire Nueva Vida video all about that whole experience of that. We started in Phoenix, then we've had a number of steps to do here once we got to Mexico. So yeah, we just made it happen. Dealt with immigration, got ready to move, got ourselves our Toyota Highlander, Antonio Banderas, and we headed off down here. It's just been an incredible, phenomenal trip. And I do want to mention two other things briefly. One, we are here permanently. Portland, Oregon is a big tourist area. Puerto Vallarta is Puerto. I got to work on that. Puerto Vallarta is a tourist area. A lot of tourists here. We're not tourists. I discovered there's a number of Canadians that arrive. They show up in November, and they're snowbirds, and they're here 4 to 6 months out of the year. And we're not snowbirds either. I mentioned that couple that I think that's why the universe had me go back mid-October for that transaction that fell through. That young couple they did buy our house. That closed on December 11th. Just a couple days ago, they became the owners of our home. We sold our home in Camas. And I'll tell you, when I saw they put on their Instagram story, our house, but now empty, and them dancing around, we're now homeowners and their kids. And it's like, that's why I had to go back in October for that time frame to do my part to help them get our home. And now they're going to love it and cherish it. And so I'm so thrilled for them, but we don't have another home to go back to. This is our home. We are here 12 out of 12 months, permanente. I always love showing, Mexicans that I meet that are like wondering, like, yeah, are you really here? Like, no, estoy aprendiendo español. I'm working on learning Spanish, and I show them my card, my temporary resident card that I have legal status here. And then they realize, oh, we're for real. And it just shifts everything. It's one thing when you're a tourist or a snowboard. It's different when you had one person tell me, a local, and I joined this. He said, Stephen, you are not a snowbird gringo. You're now a Mexican gringo. And I felt so honored by that. But yeah, we're here permanently, other than vacations and trips. So if you're coming to the Puerto Vallarta area, and let us know. Maybe it works out for us to get together and have a drink or a margarita or a Mai Tai. They do have really good margaritas here and incredible food. The entire Puerto Vallarta area has incredible food. The other thing I want to mention is the weather. I still follow the weather in what I now call the old country. And I got to tell you, August, September, October here was incredibly hot. I mean, like really hot, no fooling hot. Like during that time frame next year, we may travel a couple times somewhere cooler, and otherwise we'll be inside with the air turned up, writing books. We're going to write some books. We're going to treat it like some people in Maine in the winter, they write their books. Writers do a lot of writing in the winter. We'll do some writing and a lot of writing, held up in our cool home in August, September, October. But come November, December, the weather's been beautiful. Just this week, as I look back at the weather in Portland, Oregon areas, different places that I love, you guys have had 3, 4, 5 inches of rain this week alone. Cold, blustery, stormy. While I do love that, I tell you, this week it's been nice. The highs have been 80, 81, 82, 83. The lows, it gets all the way down to 70 at night, sometimes 71. And I got to tell you, I absolutely love that warm weather. So I'll bring this video close. It's been a joy visiting with you, particularly those of you that are my front seat friends who've been following my journey. Some of you have been following my journey. You're new to following my journey and going along with me. And some of you have been around a very long time. I say front seat friends for those that don't know, because when I was a kid, a bunch of kids were running to the car. The person that called out shotgun, they got to ride in the front seat. And for many years, I would share my journey in such a way that people could feel like and join me metaphorically in the front seat and be part of my journey and go with me on all the wonderful adventures I've had. I know for this past year, I just haven't been sharing my story as much as I wanted to. I didn't have the energy. I was coming out of a lot of misery. This past 4 months, we've been super busy getting settled here in a whole new country, learning a new language, learning a new culture, just getting a Mexican phone and cell phone and getting the internet turned on. Those were 2 incredible adventures. Learning a new culture, but now we're settled, and I'm so excited to get back to my storytelling and sharing my journey on Facebook and Instagram and my Instagram story with all of you, my front seat friends. In addition, I'll occasionally still do Stephen Shomler videos, but those will shift to be more about my inner world and some of my inner stuff that I've been dealing with and my journey there. And no promises, but I might also actually start posting to my TikTok account. Anyways, it's just been a joy. If you have in your heart a life that your heart longs for, if there's a life that you really want to live, if you have an unfulfilled dream, I just want to encourage you to go for it. You are incredibly worth it. You have what it takes, and I so believe in you. I'll end this video like I end many of my videos. I'm Stephen Shomler. I believe in the beauty of your dream. I'll say to you from the Bay of Banderas, go live the life you imagine.